Welcome to another SAPHEA tutorial video. So my name is Zosseder. I'm from the Technical University of Munich and the head of the geothermal group there. So I will tell you something about scenarios to integrate geothermal energy into district heating and cooling networks. Of course, we have different systems for geothermal. So you can have shallow geothermal systems and deep geothermal systems, also middle deep geothermal system. Then they have different temperatures, so they can produce different temperatures, as you see it here in this picture. Of course, on the other side, we have also different grids. So the grids developed actually quite well. So they have higher temperatures, and nowadays actually they have also quite very low temperatures. So it depends on which grid you use. You have to say, okay, which source is available. So and how can we link the source with the grids. Of course, you can have also some flexibilization. So you can use heat pumps for increase the source temperature to a temperature fits to the grid. So this is one essential tool what can be linked to a grid and to a source. And of course, the others is also that we have some flexibilization possibilities with thermal underground storages. So you can also integrate in your grid underground thermal storage. So this is also one compartment what we are looking at. So then what we did in the SAPHEA catalog, so we tried to make some scenarios for specific grids and geothermal linked to these grids. What you see here is you see a source temperature at the top, and you see a network temperature at the bottom. So and on the left side, you see a lot of different geothermal sources and also storage systems, which you can use for this for the network. And then you can also say that we have, for example, a hydrogeothermal direct use. And then if with 70 degrees Celsius, as you see it here in the blue arrow, and then of course, if it fits to a 70 degrees Celsius network, you can use it directly. But if you have to feed a high temperature grid, so of course you can use a heat pump, a high temperature heat pump here, and then you can increase the temperature. And this is some sort of combination for grids and sources. And we tried to figure out all sources which are existed, all combination which are existing, and what are available. So what we did is you can find in the catalog a lot of different scenarios combining different grid temperatures with different source temperatures. And we developed a catalog with basic scenarios, what you see on the left side. So if you're interested in such a scenario, you have a grid with a low temperature and you want to see which geothermal source can I use for such a low temperature, then you can go into the scenario catalog and see, okay, what sources are available. So for example, in the BO1 scenario, you have a shallow geothermal and a free cooling and a district cooling network. So this is a combination. So you can go through this scenario catalog and see what combinations are available, also for so-called complex scenarios here, which means that you combine here some basic scenarios, some sources with, for example, thermal energy storages. And the future scenarios are also integrated, so there are some developments, what we say for the future, which can be used. So if you're interested in such future scenarios and future combinations, here is also explained in the catalog. So what you got then is that you have, for example, some explanations of these specific scenarios, like here. You have groundwater as a source and a central heat pump and middle temperature grid. So you find here some explanations and also some examples. And so you can say, okay, this was already done in Paris, for example, and then I see how they did it. Of course, here another scenario example for hydrothermal direct use and a heat pump integrated with a middle temperature network. Of course, there's also an application scenario scheme, and you can find some examples here. Further, what we did is we tried to find out which parameters are necessary for such potential assessment for such scenarios, if you want to integrate it in a spatial energy planning, for example. So for every scenario, we find out what are the parameters for potential assessment and what are the difference between these parameters. So we try to find some categories, and also what we did is to find, okay, which parameters needed for a potential assessment for these specific scenarios. And we defined here also some qualitative assessments and quantitative assessments, because for the quantification, you need more parameters in general. So you find for a specific source and a specific scenario the relevant parameters for a potential assessment, what you need, and also they are linked then to what is available, and also some methodologies how you can assess the potential for specific scenarios and also for specific qualitative elements. So here you see an example for one of those scenarios, what you can find in the scenario catalogs, and which is provided by us, and how you can use it. Okay, that's a short overview of the scenario catalog, and I hope it helps you. Thank you.